In a city where past and future dance, John and Benjamin Green, architects of remarkable vision, once walked these streets, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape. This prodigious father and son team shaped the city's 19th century built environment. Born in 1787, John Green established himself in Newcastle. His work displays a blend of practicality and aesthetic appeal. Benjamin, born in 1811, brought a more vibrant view to architecture. He collaborated with his father on many projects. They combined traditional styles with the era's emerging trends. They created a dynamic team, leaving a lasting mark on Newcastle's architecture.
These buildings, they must stand the test of time.
Yes, Father, and we need to use the most up-to-date ideas.
Our clients require solid classical lines, Benjamin. Your modern ideas might not go down too well.
That hasn't stopped Dobson.
Ah, Dobson. He has powerful friends.
Every line I draw, every stone I place must be permanent.
So we will work together, pleasing today's people so we can enrich the future.
What we design is not just a collection of buildings. It will be the heart of our city. Yes, Newcastle will soon become a city, a place where stories are born and fortunes are made. This city will be my masterpiece.
In 1822, John Green designed a new home for the Newcastle Literary and Philosophical Society. The building, which houses the Society's large library, is still in use today. Freemasonry was part of professional life in Newcastle. The laying of the foundation stone was a Masonic event. The Duke of Sussex, head of the Freemasons, came for the occasion. He processed around Gateshead and the Tyne Bridge before receiving the freedom of the town from the mayor at the Mansion House. His portrait still hangs on the library stairs. Benjamin joined his father's practice in 1830. One of their early joint projects was the Church of the Holy Saviour at Leamington. They aligned the building north to south. This went against the tradition of facing Jerusalem. They wanted to avoid perilous underground coal mine tunnels. The practice designed the church hall a year after completing the church. John was a civil engineer and renowned for road and rail bridges. He built several spans, including the innovative MkII system. Laminated timber arches rest on masonry piers. The two he built for the Newcastle and North Shield Railway at Ousburn and Willington Quay remain. Later engineers replaced the timbers with wrought iron in 1869. A poor law guardian brings to mind Dickens' Mr. Bumble and the unfortunate Oliver Twist. The Greens built this North Shields home for the destitute with Jacobean-style gables in 1837. John Dobson added to this complex with his 1844 Gothic Tudor Town Hall. Greens completed their most famous construction, the Theatre Royal, in February 1837. That June, Queen Victoria ascended the throne. The theatre opened with a production of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. Richard Granger had laid out grand designs for the redevelopment of the town centre. The theatre and nearby Seven Dials Place were at the heart of his new vision. Gray's monument now stands where Granger envisaged Seven Dials, forming the centre of a roundabout for the increasing town traffic. Benjamin designed the plinth and Doric order column that stands 41 metres high. The monument celebrates Charles, the second Earl Grey, who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1830 until 1834. One of Grey's most important achievements is the Great Reform Act, which reorganised parliamentary constituencies and increased the number of those eligible to vote. The Penshaw Monument sits atop a hill in County Durham. It honours John George Lambton, the first Earl of Durham. The Greens took their 1844 design from the Temple of Hephaestus in Athens. Lambton married Earl Grey's daughter, Louisa, in 1816. Visible from 80 kilometres, Penshaw Monument stands as a symbol of the northeast. Its striking silhouette, seen from afar, evokes pride. Skeptics are focused on its flaws and futility. Some dismiss it as a mere folly. It lacks any portrayal of Lambton. Despite these criticisms, Penshaw Monument is a celebrated local landmark. From Grand Palazzo to Cathedral Asset, this Newcastle landmark has seen centuries of change. Built in 1845 for the Newcastle Joint Stock Bank, it showcases Benjamin Green's lavish design. Its exterior, featuring giant columns and intricate details, reflects the city's early commercial splendour. The building's origins date back to Thomas Joplin's efforts to introduce joint stock banking in England and Wales. This innovation challenged the Bank of England's monopoly, allowing local partnerships to become shareholder-owned banks. Although the bank failed in 1846, the building survived. It housed gun retailers, estate agents, and even Thomas Cook's 1875 Newcastle office. After the cathedral bought it in 2010, it aims to use it for offices, retail, and visitor services. Now known as Cathedral House, this delight on St Nicholas Square continues to evolve. It preserves a rich heritage whilst catering for the community's changing needs. Tynemouth's railway evolution began in 1839 with an extension from North Shields. The terminus, designed by Benjamin Green, echoed his Tudor Jacobean style, seen elsewhere. Two platforms flanked the eastern building, which housed offices and the station master. A Gothic portico led passengers into the booking hall. In the 1860s, the North Eastern Railway added glazed roofs to the open-air platforms. This matched the comfort of the nearby Blythe and Tyne terminus. In 1850, the addition of a hotel beside the south platform improved amenities. The station's role changed in 1882 when a new through station opened nearby. Although passenger services ceased, goods traffic continued until 1959. The new owners converted it into two dwellings, thus preserving Green's architectural legacy amidst changing times. Today, it is part of Mariners Point, a retirement home. Morpeth Station, a gem on the Newcastle and Berwick railway line, opened its doors on the 1st of March 1847. It lies 24 kilometres north of Newcastle. Benjamin, its designer, fashioned many other stations along the line. His distinctive Scottish baronial style became a trademark of these buildings. In 2020, the Greater Morpeth Development Trust spent £2.3 million to restore the station. STP Construction brought Green's original vision back to life, preserving a piece of railway history. Warkworth Station, also designed by Benjamin Green, opened on the same day as Morpeth. It stands 22 kilometres north of Morpeth. The station had coal depot sidings south of the up platform. A goods shed lay to the north. Cattle dock sidings extended south of the down platform. In its final years, the station saw an improvement in train services. However, its remote location limited passenger potential. No community developed nearby. British Railways ended passenger services on the 15th of September 1958. It closed goods traffic on the 2nd of April 1962. Thus, Warkworth's railway era came to an end. Today, the Grade II listed building is a private dwelling. The Life Transformation Church, formerly St Paul's, stands on Havelock Place, Elsick. Benjamin Green designed it in 1854, before its consecration 5 years later. It is dressed in sandstone ashlar with a Welsh slate roof. A two-centred arch with nook shafts frames the elaborate hinged double door. The chancel was rebuilt in 1950. After its closure in 2006, the church suffered vandalism. In 2009, the Life Transformation Ministry purchased it. In 2014, the Repair Grants for Places of Worship scheme funded vital repairs. The Heritage Lottery Fund and Historic England also provided financial help. In 2017, the team completed a second urgent repair phase. Thus, new life was granted to this historic building. MkII's 1806 construction by Algernon Percy, the 4th Duke of Northumberland, marked North Shield's maritime evolution. This deep-water port fostered commerce, hosting markets and fairs. The Northumberland Arms Hotel added prestige, later becoming infamous as the Jungle. In 1856, the Benjamin Green designed Sailor's Home opened, aiming to counter Low Street's vices. The Duke championed this initiative, bolstered by £3,000 in public subscriptions. George French's appointment as secretary began a 32-year tenure. He left with an £80 annual pension. Seeking domestic finesse, directors selected Miss Owen from Shrewsbury as superintendent amidst fierce competition. Despite these efforts, support dwindled over time. The Tyne Sailors' Home closed its doors in December 1938, unable to sustain its noble mission. All Saints Cemetery, Newcastle's first creation by the Burial Board, opened in 1856 after its consecration the previous year. Benjamin Green's Gothic archway frames the entrance, flanked by stately elms. Tree-lined avenues divide the grounds into wards. After the 1924 demolition of Carlisle Jail, workers added unmarked graves for the executed criminals. Today, the cemetery is the final resting place of 90,000. Walking through the graves is sobering. I see words left by loved ones for their dead family members. The stone commemorating twin boys who survived 2 days crushed my heart. Others read like layered lives, centuries long, coming to a close. We combine our desire for life and recognition with our need for others. In times of war and pestilence, it is the others who succumb. Our belief in our self-importance triumphs. Like the Greens, we seek immortality through deeds and convictions. No life is more futile than another. It's the things we create that matter. In our transitory journey, we may grasp a moment, a breath, a glimpse of someone other than ourselves.
Watch more from Radio Jonaphone. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy.